We're live.
We
Hello.
are live! Woohoo!
We are.
Wait,
We're
we
live. We're not.
actually were Evil Dead.
We are live. We're not evil dead. We might be evil, but I don't think we're dead. So
We never know.
gorgeous. Um, I wanted to discuss this movie because I don't know what it is, but I had gotten into my head that a lot of people didn't like this movie. But talking to people, a lot of people love this movie, including myself. I really enjoy. I really enjoy Fiat Alvarez's Evil Dead, which came out in 2013. A couple of fun facts for you. This movie was banned in the Ukraine because of graphic violence. Make that of what you will, given the current situation. Uh, it,
We can't have
it
violence,
used
Marty.
Fiat Alvarez is quoted in saying they used 50,000 gallons of fake blood as opposed to the 2000 that was used in the original Evil Dead movies. It's the longest of the Evil Dead movies. It's most of the Evil Dead movies talking about 90 minutes. This one is just over that. And yeah, it's not a remake. A lot of people think this is a remake. This is what Raimi and Alvarez have called a sidequel. Their original plan was to have Mia team up with Ash down the line. Originally, they were going to do an Army of Darkness 2, featuring Bruce Campbell, and then he meets Mia in a third movie. Then they were going to introduce Mia into Ash versus Evil Dead, but then that show got cancelled. Um, I'm kind of bummed out because if that's the case, they really threw out the baby with the bathwater. Because this movie's a cool movie. I enjoy this. No shortage on gore.
No.
It's definitely a step up from prior ones. I love the original Evil Dead movies, but if you watch them now, I don't think you call them. They're fun, but they're not really scary unless unless you're under the age of 10. I think some kids wouldn't find them scary. I don't know. What's your thoughts, Jen,
Um,
on
I
this
look,
flick?
see what my. I have a little bit. You and Christian, pretty much. You guys, your thoughts pretty much align. I'm old. I'm an old grumpy Karen and stuff. Although, like on a rewatch, because I rewatched the movie last night because I wanted to be prepared for the stream, and on a like, I was kind of like there were things about this remake that I have to give it to and acknowledge. But when I first watched it, I thought this just doesn't have the same magic as the original, and I still hold to it. But there are things about it. I'm kind of coming around. I think I like it more now than I did when it originally came out because there's a big nostalgia factor with me. I remember watching Evil Dead as a little kid and just being blown away, and like all the cool effects and how knowing that they almost died several times, all of that. It's just such a cool, and it has such an independent filmmaking spirit. So that movie has a really special place in my heart. This one is cool. It's kind of like the Terrifier 2 situation. It's cool. I like it, but it doesn't kind of come close to the original for me. And yes, I'll acknowledge a big part of that for me is nostalgia. A big part,
Oh,
but there are things about it, and like on the rewatch that I gotta go. Okay, this does do it a little bit better. I'll be honest. I'll admit it.
yeah, yeah. At the end of the day, and I think you told me Christian brought this up as well. So I don't want to be hijacking any points that Christian made. He was supposed to join us tonight, but fair play to him. He's helping out your parents, his grandparents at the moment tonight. But hopefully we'll get
Yeah.
him in another stream at some point. But he said budgetary constraints. The originals had budgetary
Yes.
constraints. They're the independent movie. That said, like Christian, I have a big soft spot for Evil Dead 2. It is one of my Halloween movies because there is something mischievous and I don't know, whimsical about it, like the silliness of it and
Oh
the
yes.
over the topness of it, and that's why I
I
think it
definitely
works.
agree.
Where this is, most people could like brush this off. Oh, it's just an edge lord Evil Dead. I'm like, the original one has a woman getting raped by trees, so who's real fucking edge lord here? Which they
I
kind
know
of
it's tree
they
right,
do.
Marty.
um,
Tree right.
so before Jen goes on a
I love
nostalgic
the
trip
tree
on
right.
Jen, remember, we talked about this before the stream. We are not discussing horticultural sexual assault throughout the stream, okay?
And fine, but that is like something that makes it so charming for me. I'm not gonna lie, like the tree rape really makes it charming and special for me.
They do it in this one as well, and they do it a hell of a lot better, I think. Or would you disagree?
You think so?
I
Why?
think so, to a point that yeah, the other one looks kind of the other one looks okay. This one I think is more harrowing. I don't know. I've never been raped. I've never been raped for a tree, for that matter. I don't know. I just think Mia, just the situation Mia's in, being in the bog, just that the whole like fucking hallucinating, tripping out. Could it be her possession making her see this? Could be her withdrawal, and that's another fantastic element. That, as well as Kandarian demons, Mia has to deal with personal demons. I think that's fantastic.
That is one thing I will give to the remake that does. We'll get into it more in the stream, I have a feeling, but that is one thing I do. They do that better for the reason why they're at the cabin. The remake does do it better and give them a better explanation, and it kind of fleshes out the story a little bit better. I will give it the remake that.
But what did you think the tree scene is lacking in this one as opposed to the other one?
Yes, but again, you biased and nostalgia, and I'll be the first to tell you that, Marty, because like when I was a little kid and I saw the original, I just was like, oh my god, that is such a cool idea. I was just like enchanted. It was like my Winnie the Pooh kind of thing, only it was a tree, and I was like,
so instead of Winnie the Pooh getting stuck in the hole, he gets
exactly
the branch gets. Never mind. Anywho. So
exactly.
yeah,
You know
look,
me so well.
I do. It's terrifying, really. But yeah, no, just I like I think this movie. It's more of a harrowing experience. I think. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm
you're not wrong, because like I was saying earlier, like what where the remake really shines, and I like this, is because we're dealing with drug withdrawal, and they also throw in the mental illness of their mother, so we don't know, like, is she crazy, is it from the withdrawals, and it really does add a level, especially if you suffer from mental illness, it really does add a level of just terrifiedness, because when people have to suffer from that, we don't know if we're going crazy or if it's actually happening to you. And when you add element in, it adds a terrifying prospect. And I will give it that is that's probably my highest praise for this. I love all the extra blood and gore and things, but that is one thing. And it has a little bit more serious tone. I've heard other people say that, like, the original has kind of it's serious, but there's kind of a comedic element to it. Like you said, unless you're under it does hear you, where this one has a much more grave tone and a little bit more serious, and you can argue. I guess it just depends what flavor you like.
There's really fuck all levity in this movie. From the get from off the tip, I can't think of any kind of quips or jokes. Also, hello Sasha. Shiloh Fernandez, who plays David, he does a good job as well. He's kind of like, well, do I take my sister out of here? Is she just fucking playing this shit up because she's going cold turkey, or is there something really up with her? And his friends are like,
I love
his
that.
friends. Oh, sorry, Jen.
Oh, I just was saying, I love that, because like you said, he doesn't know, like, and that's something, I guess, if you're dealing with a loved one who is, going through withdrawals, has a drug addiction, that's something you feel, because you don't know what to do. You want to help them and you don't know the best way. Do you take them? Do you turn them in? Or do you try to stand by him and help them? Or do you walk away? This is a really good metaphor for all of those things. In a way, it's cleverly disguised, but like all good horror, it's good social commentary. And that's kind of, you could use that metaphor metaphorically, was loved and in the drug addiction.
Yeah, it's like, again, there is the backstory is kind of filtered out here, in that their mother was obviously terminally ill. There's a weird kind of in universe or what's that thing that I joke that you have about my folks? Head canon. There's this head canon thing going around that their mother was actually Sheila from Army of Darkness, and she died because she wasn't able to manage like modern medicine and stuff, and that's why she died. That's one. I think that's crap, but if you want to believe that, you can. But
It's a fun
the thing
theory.
is, David wasn't around. It's hinted that okay, so David wasn't around while their mother was sick, and as a knock-on effect, Mia had to look after their mother and became addicted to drugs as a result. So that's again there's depth, whereas the other movies didn't really like. I love the other movies. Don't get me wrong. I love the other movies, but they had about this much depth, whereas this one has
No,
about this much depth. Yeah.
yeah, they're very apples and oranges in that case. And again, it kind of depends on what flavor or what you're in the mood for. Because I've heard some people say that that's why they love the original, because it's kind of a silly approach. There's a comedic to it. And it's really cool. There's really cool scenes and stop motion and blood and gore, and it's funny and you can have a good time with it. Where this other one's a little bit heavy and kind of forces you to look at stuff, and you could really dig under all the subtext and really have a lot to chew on. And I think it just kind of depends on what mood you're in or what kind of person. They really are. Like, I don't think one is, I've kind of changed my stance. I don't think one is better than the other. I think it just kind of your preference, like everything else in this world.
Yeah, that's just universe talks has always sort of confused me. The majority of films take place on Earth out universe. No, Sasha. That's like when a series of movies, when a series there's a franchise that's called the universe, the Marvel Cinematic Universe, the Evil Dead universe, the fucking Aliens universe. Yeah, that's what it means. It doesn't mean it's set in space or anything like that.
Yeah, it just, that's the.
Um, yeah, going back. So the kind of the thing that I kind of liked. So they take her to this cabin, and it's the family cabin. One thing that did kind of irk me was who the fuck were the hillbillies, the deformed hillbillies, and the father and daughter at the start? Like that was kind of like
Nobody knows. And that's something, I don't mean to cut you off, Marty, but that you do bring up a good point. I wanted to mention this too. That is one thing. Who the fuck are these people? This is a movie where you're going, not, I've seen movies that do it worse, but this is a movie where you're like, who the fuck are these people? And I think it's just to set up the story and give it an atmosphere and an excuse to use as much blood as possible. But if you're a stickler for that stuff, I've heard some people that is a really big sticking point, and one of the reasons why they don't like this movie is because it's like, who the fuck are you people? And the movie never really gives any answers.
did they decide to, because no one was staying at the cabin, did they decide to perform this exorcism there and do it? I don't know. Like I'm still wondering, is it the fucking? I'm still wondering, is this the cabin again? This is supposed to be a requel or a sidequel. This is supposed to be set in the same universe. So is that the cabin? Because again, at the end they have fucking Raymond Noby's tapes, and they have Cheryl Ellen Sandweiss, her voice at the end of the movie. So it is hinting, yes, this takes place in that universe. But yeah, I was like, okay, are these people connected to it at all? I don't know.
I
It
don't
didn't
think
bother
so.
me as such. It was a fantastic way to grip the audience that say that like opening scene was like, well, this ain't your daddy's Evil Dead. It was like, you know,
I don't,
like
I like to think they belong.
it's like again, it was very kind of an intense opening because you have these rednecks just knocking up and tying up this young girl out in the woods, and like, yeah, we getting some fucking, fucking I spit in your grave kind of scenario going on here, and then it's like it's you've all these kind of hillbilly people. One of whom, one deformed actor, he survived the plane crash twice. Two plane crashes. That's why he looks the way he does. In my research, I done a bit of research on this, and yeah, the dude who's like all fucked up, he looks
Uh-huh.
he makes Michael Berryman or Berry
Yes, Michael Berryman.
he makes Michael Berryman look like a fucking Brad Pitt. He's that fucked up at the
I
start of
didn't
the
know
movie.
that.
He survived 2 plane crashes. If I survived 1 plane crash, Jen,
Never
I
again.
wouldn't be getting on a plane. I'd fucking swim. I'd swim everywhere. But yeah, it's. I don't. Do you think for Alvarez was kind of Alvarez was cherry picking? Well, I love Deliverance, or I love I Spit in Your Grave, or I love The Hills of Eyes. That's why I'm gonna
kind of mash
put him
everything
there.
together. I think there is nods, and because I get that too, and I think he's not just Evil Dead's the main one, but I think we get all these because I got a big spit on your grave vibe the first time I watched it as well, and he kind of strikes me as someone who's like kind of giving everyone a little, a little rub and going, hey, and acknowledging, kind of paying your respects to the horror past, which is very cool. It kind of shows again that this filmmaker loves this genre and loves horror in general. It's not a cash grab. That's one thing I will say. I kind of at first, when I first heard that they were going to do a remake, I thought this is a big cash grab. But I think the people who are actually involved in it truly do love horror. Well, you can see with how much blood and guts they poured into this movie, literally.
Yeah, this could have easily been one of the platinum. Do you remember the fucking the Politter of Platinum Dune horror remakes that came
Not
out?
all of them were terrible. Not all of them.
Friday the 13th I thought was good.
I did too.
But there were some that were just like fucking hell. This is.
And I like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I know you're a little different, but I like it mostly because of what you would do. But
Lee Ermey.
Yes,
I think is brilliant in those movies.
Yeah, that's what saves them for me.
I think I prefer the second one. Yeah, I don't know as I talk to you, I prefer the second Texas Chainsaw where Lee Ermey just blows away the deputy because what was it? The sheriff's office was closing down and it was just the one deputy. He's like, I just killed the entire goddamn police force.
He's what makes those movies. He really does.
He's brilliant.
But I do remember.
Yeah, rest in peace, Lee Ermey. You were a fucking legend.
So
yeah. That opening definitely grabs you by the balls, because you not only have emulation of this young possessed girl, but you also have her head being blown up by a double-barrel shotgun.
The movie has the balls to go there, and it establishes that right from the beginning. That's another thing I like about this movie. It has the ball, because some movies wouldn't go that far. Like some movies might, not show it, but not show it, and we actually see it, and it has a lot of balls.
Yeah, it's again. I like the fact this movie isn't fucking going to kind of do because the Platinum Dunes did do some stuff that was like. Kind of like, oh, it's going to be kill, and then some object would get in the foreground so you wouldn't see the kill.
Yeah.
But this isn't. It's all out there, so that kind of catches us off guard. Then you have David, Mia, and their friends arriving at the cabin, and they're all discussing stuff. And David is kind of David arrives with his girlfriend, and he has a heart to heart with Mia. And his friends obviously don't have much faith in him because they're like, look, you weren't here for her, and he turns around and goes, a lot of guilt. He goes, well, I'm here now, and there's a nod to the first Evil Dead. I don't know the character that's in it, the dude. I don't know the character's name. He's got glasses and long hair, and David's like, well, I'm here now. Oh yeah, that's great. That's wonderful. That's that line is the bit where Ash is listening to the Necronomicon, listening to Nobi's tapes, and his sister's like, "Look, Ash, I done a card trick." And he goes, "Oh, that's great. That's wonderful." So they obviously lifted that line as well there. But yeah,
That's
so
another thing. Like they do that. I don't mean to cut you off, Marty, but that's one thing they do. Like other franchises that try to do nods to it. Sometimes it can the fan service can be a little overblown. The movie's pretty understated. Like you get little nods, and if you're a fan, you'll get it. But they don't jam it down your throat. That is another thing about this movie that I like. They do nods, but they don't like get it. You know what I mean?
yeah,
I love that. I appreciate
the kind of the fucking hipstery dude when he gets shot with the nails and he starts laughing.
Yeah.
He's maniacally laughing. There's a POV between the antlers of a deer over the fireplace,
Yeah.
and it's like obviously they can't have the fucking deer head laughing, but that's obviously that's a nod to Evil Dead 2 with the remember where the deer fucking comes to life.
Oh yeah.
And starts laughing. That's obviously a nod to that, and I thought that was very clever as well.
And very subtle.
Yeah. But
I love subtlety.
Really?
I am the most subtle person you never know what I'm thinking because I'm that subtle.
You're so subtle. You're like a church mouse walking over talcum powder. That's how subtle you are, babe. My arse. But no, I digress. Again, there's more backstory given. They're like, look, she's kind of said she'd do this before, and she's fucked off. And he's like, no, I'll be here. And she goes, they're like, you better be here because she OD'd the last time, and we were the ones that had to pick up the pieces. So that's interesting. So they go into the cabin and they have a wonderful dog. The dog actor is great. It's kind of sad what happens to the dog as well. I don't know what the dog's name was. Hero? I think they called the dog Hero in the movie.
Yeah. But again, like if you're a dog in a horror movie, sometimes you're lucky, but more times than not, that's just if you're a horror fan and you see a dog in the movie, you just got to mentally prepare yourself.
Look, in fairness, 2022 was the year of the dog. Not only did it survive a horror movie, it helped a Native American girl defeat an extraterrestrial hunter. So, like, things are looking up for Modges. Yeah.
Yeah, but if you're in a gay conversion camp, then you're an old dog and you get your head blown off. I hated that.
Yeah, well, that's Kevin Bacon. You can't trust Kevin Bacon at all when it comes to dogs.
That's true.
Anywho, so they enter the cabin, and Mia is like, "Oh, it fucking smells awful. What's that fucking smell? What's it smell?" Everyone's like, "Okay, she's fucking tweaking here." But the dog,
was right.
The dog's like, if the dog had subtitles, the dog would be like, "I think this bitch is right, Shaggy." And he goes sniffing the carpet. They pull up the carpet, and there's a big fucking blood stain on the cellar. You open it up, and someone's decided to turn a bunch of cats into lampshades.
Very Ed Gein. Yes. Only it would have been humans, but still, you got to start somewhere.
So they go down. No sign of the rednecks. No sign of the bispected father. Your one has been burned to pieces. Fun fact: the fuel that's poured over her head is actually apple juice. Obviously, they wouldn't pour real petrol over the girl's head, but it was apple juice. And they find David and Hipster McHipstery find the double-barreled shotgun and the cursed book. For some reason, I don't know how, I don't know why, and you can double check this on me. The Lovecraft estate would not let Alvarez use the term Necronomicon.
I didn't know that. Christian actually does. I wish he was here. He does know about this.
Yeah, the Lovecraft estate would not let them use the name Necronomicon, so it's just called the Book of the Dead or the Cursed Book. And it's a really cool fucking thing. Not only is it like, okay, Jen, you go down No, maybe I'm asking the wrong person because it's you, because you're fucking crazy. But you go down, right,
Uh-huh.
and you find a shotgun, you find charred remains, and you find a book wrapped in black plastic, wrapped in barbed wire. Do you take it up and do you start reading it?
Yeah. You
So
asked
yeah,
the wrong person. Yeah,
yeah, I
I
did,
would
I did,
like
that was my first tactical error, Jen. That was my first tactical error. They take it up
like I
and
probably would. Like it's human nature, Marty, because like, it's human nature because you do want to know what the hell is in it. And like, it's curiosity killed the cat. And then of course I've seen all these horror movies, and so I'd probably joke to you and Christian, what's the worst that could happen?
and then I'd be like, you fucking bitch, we're gonna die.
You and Christian would just take the book away from me, probably.
That was cool as well because in the prior movies and stuff, they burned and they could destroy the book and stuff.
Yeah.
But in this one, that didn't work. The book was like fucking. It was indestructible. Hipster McHipster face. I need to find out this character's name before I call him Hipster McHipster face. But yeah,
I like Hipster McHipster. That's what I'm going to call him from now on.
Hipstery McHipster. Um, they take it up, and not only that, like every failsafe has been done for this book, right?
Mm-hmm.
He opens it up. He cuts the barbed wire with pliers. He opens up the black plastic, and even on the inside, scrolled, cut in with some kind of bloody knife or pen, it says, "Do not read, do not look at, do not say aloud." And uh, on top of that, as well, someone has etched out the passages. Someone has like scribbled out the passages, but fuckface here, decides to put down paper on top of it and etch the words on the paper,
Ouch.
the print on the paper, so he's able to fucking get the incantation. Eric, Lou Tyler Pucci, he plays Eric. Poochie, here,
Poochie.
Poochie. He's hipster McHipster. He gets the thing, and he decides to read the incantation. You open up a book, and it's like my first reaction to seeing a book with pages of like weird fucking demonic writing and images of like people fucking cutting off their face and bleeding out their arse and creatures crawling out their necks and shit. I'd be like, this is going back to the library. Ah, yeah,
See, for me, I'd be like, could we put this on the wall? This is art. I would.
oh,
I love the Cannibal Corpses covers, so of course I would love this shit.
but the Cannibal Corpses kind of artwork isn't going to. I don't know. Obviously, he didn't know it at the time, but it's
But
just
there would be, you do make a good point, because like all this, you would think something in your self-preservation would be like, I get human curiosity too, but like something would be like, you know what, maybe I should just leave this be. You know what I mean? I do
yeah,
get that.
yeah. Like, of course, this character has like put himself forward. He is the art Poochie's character. I'm not gonna. I don't know which is where calling him Hipster McHipster face or Poochie now. Poochie.
I like Hipster McHipster, but that's just me.
Lou Taylor Poochie. Eric. We'll call him Eric. Also, hello Dino.
Hello, Dino.
He he he's very arrogant and he's very kind of dismissive of everything. So if anyone's going to read the fucking book, it's going to be him. And
Yeah.
he reads the fucking book, and
Oh,
they get
hell breaks
attacked by the POV camera, and it goes straight for Mia. Now, why does it pick Mia? Do you think? Because
Well, because she would be the target to go for, because everyone wouldn't know, like, you don't know, because she's the one on drugs. So, like, her weird behavior, you would just chalk it up to withdrawals. And, I mean, they're not stupid. It makes sense in that. I mean, go for your weakest link, and she would be your weakest link.
yeah, it's like she like initially, like I wonder, does she get infected when the fucking Eric says the passage, or is it when she crashes the car and gets diddled by those thorns?
I always thought it was when she got it penetrated by the thorn. She literally got penetrated by or possessed by. I like the word penetrated better. By the demons.
Of course you fucking do. Um,
It's a more
yeah.
potent word.
So she fucking okay. So Eric says the words. She flips out and fucking takes off with the car, and she ends up fucking crashing into a swamp. We call it swamp,
Yeah,
a marsh,
yeah,
and
swamp.
gets attacked by the briars. And it is, I think it's very harrowing. And she's also being watched by a demonic version of herself. So I'm wondering, is it like the minute that vine goes up her, those things switch places, the demon takes over, and she's found again by her brother, and everyone's
That's
like,
how I've always
okay,
interpreted it. Like that's
yeah,
when
shit.
when it goes in, that's when it's complete. Like it starts, and then that's kind of when everything just it's
Like
set.
with the original. I just want to say from the offset, because I'm going to bring her up a lot in this review. Jane Levy is a fucking trooper in this movie. She kicks ass. She done all her own stunts. The only stunt she didn't like was having to vomit onto Jessica Lucas's face. She said that was the only thing that she felt bad for Jessica Lucas. Everything else she thought was cool. It was fun. She had to wear contacts and dye her hair because she's originally blonde, and she has blue eyes. I think they gave her darker contacts and different. She's wearing a couple of different fucking contacts in this movie, obviously. But
And
she
those are
makes it back
painful.
to the house. Yeah, yeah. She makes it back to the house and she's just there in the bunk and she's like fucking flipping the fuck out. And they're like, yeah, she's crashed the car. She's obviously fucking tweaking. What do we do? What do we do? Well, we can't fucking. They get into an argument, and Jessica Lucas is like, no, she's stay here. She has to go cold turkey. David's like, no, 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 we're gonna take her out of there. Meanwhile, she goes into the kind of bathroom area and decides to take a shower
Scalds herself.
and boils her fucking skin
Mm-hmm.
and like
Good scene.
and it, awesome scene. She comes out, half her skin is fucking boiled. These blisters are like that was fucking cool as well. The bubbling, some of that was practical.
You
Alvarez,
can tell.
Alvarez, whose prior experience and expertise is in CG, was pushed to use CG to do that, and he goes, no, 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 trust me, as someone who's worked on stuff with CG and knows how fake CG can look, I prefer to use this. Um, I'd prefer to use this practically because you can
Right.
see it. Now, maybe he did end up touching it up, but look, she comes in, has a shotgun double barrel, and the cool thing is they overdub and loop her voice with that of Ellen Sandwise from the original Evil Dead. You're all gonna die, and she fucking starts uh, firing randomly with the shotgun. She passes out and vomits on Jessica Lucas's character. And yes, no surprise, Sasha is favorite actress is Jessica Lucas. So these fucking idiots are still under the impression that she's just tweaking. She's talked in a demonic accent. She's fucking boiled herself like the holiday ham. And yeah. It's they're still like,
Wouldn't you
oh,
think that though? I mean, like I thought that was actually kind of believable because if you're dealing with someone who's going through withdrawal or tripping out, so that depending on what you're taking and how strong it is, you can do some pretty fucked up things. So I think it's
oh,
pretty was ingenious.
okay. No, you're right. You're right. It would be more rational to go, this chick is just fucking flipping out because of the drugs. But the demonic kind of voice would have been in my giveaway. It was like, yeah, I know some fuckers do bad shit in meth, but I don't think they sound like fucking Linda Blair in the first Exorcist, like, you know.
But then look
Um,
at the church people, those Episcopalians who speak in tongues and stuff, like, and they're not on anything. It's literally just the spirit, which is kind of like a demon, and that you hear them talking in tongues and stuff. So it's kind of the same thing, or am I reaching too much?
I don't think you're reaching. I just think those Episcopalians are literally taking the piss with some of the shit they do. So like Jessica Lucas's character goes to checking her because she's a nurse. Yeah, she's a nurse, and she's Eric's girlfriend. And Mia flips her over and vomits just copious amounts of blood and gore and shit on her. And that was
It's
when I was like,
pretty.
okay, this film ain't fucking around. Like if the opening didn't grab you, this did. This
Mm-hmm.
grabs you. So like she she gets knocked out or restrained. I think they end up pushing her into the cellar. This is the scene
Yep.
where I think Jessica Lucas flips me into the cellar and then decides to go to the bathroom to clean herself off. And one of the coolest moments of possession, she realizes there's something up, there's something not right. She walks out of the bathroom, she freezes like she got hit by a brick wall, and she pisses herself. I thought that was cool. She's twitching. It's like something's inside in her hot wire in her body, and like just the
All
just the stream of piss coming out of her. I thought was like fucking chef's kiss. What did you think of that scene? Where
I loved it. I loved it. It's
Olivia, that's the
very
character's name. Olivia gets
it
possessed.
is, and it comes out of like you should, if you know you're if you've been paying attention and know what movie you're watching, it shouldn't surprise you. But the way it's done, it kind of does pull the rug out from under your feet, because like you said, it's just, it stops and you're like, what the hell? And then you're like, oh yeah, I love how it really pulls the rug under your feet. And just as a gore hound, I mean, it's and what is more distasteful than urine? Like throw up is the one that gets me the most, but urine isn't exactly a day at the park either. Even though I'm German, the golden shower doesn't do much for me.
I I've had um I've had I've had kind of things where I've heard things where Alvarez had said, now I don't know if this is the right approach to go, but he based it on someone suffering from cerebral palsy.
That
Just
makes
someone,
sense.
just their body, just they're just, because apparently I for me the prospect of cerebral palsy is fucking terrifying.
Terrifying. Yeah,
Just
because you have
you're
no control.
no control, no control.
Mhm.
You're fucking contorting. You're basically fighting for control of your body, and the
Yeah.
fact you're
You're
defecating
literally,
yourself as
something
well.
else is literally, it is actually, the way you said that, it is the right approach, because think about it. You are literally fighting of the perfect metaphor.
Yeah,
You're literally fighting on something, another entity other than yourself. So that is kind of the perfect metaphor. Actually, he nailed it psychologically. That's brilliant.
yeah. It's fucking disconcerting. Um.
Yeah,
So
and
the
scary.
other,
And I think that's everybody's fear. I think that's everybody's fear, is not to be able to control your own, your own body, your own thoughts. What else is, I mean, that's kind of a thing of rape in itself, because you're being betrayed.
do you think the Olivia's possession is a kind of another, because this does seem to be an overlapping kind of thing. It's depicted in the book, but there does seem to be different levels of violation to the female character's possession. Mia
Hmm.
obviously being raped by the Thorns, Olivia just being kind of just not in control of her body, and
And being
her,
kind of restrained. It's like
yeah,
herself.
yeah,
She's
yeah,
being.
and defecating herself. And then
Mhm.
you've David's girlfriend, who is essentially Mia fork tongues herself and gives cunnilingus, which infects her. I think, is that how she got infected, or was she bitten in the hand? Because I
Mhm.
know her hand transformed, but there is a scene where she kind of goes down on David's girlfriend, right, while her tongue is split.
Yep.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
So, so would you
It's
say
very
that
biblical, because you're thinking of a serpent.
yeah, do you think there is, with the female character's possession, is there definitely, like possession itself is a metaphor for violation, but do you think Alvarez kind of pushed the whole sexual violation kind of thing? Hey, Monty.
Hey, Monty. Yes, I do. I've always gotten that subtext with this because, and it's smart. Like it's again, one of my big pet peeves is when it's ham-fisted or they're spoon feeding you. You kind of have to read behind the lines, but you totally. I took it like that, and I don't think I'm the only one who has. I don't. At least I don't
Yeah,
think I am. And I like that.
like
And I mean, what is worse?
yeah, it's very much highlighted in Mia's possession and attack. But I'm
Mm-hmm.
just wondering, is it?
I
Did you
think it's
got
a
the
theme
vibe from
through
the other
all of
two
the
female
female characters.
characters?
I think it is. I
Yeah.
think it is a theme of all female characters. And I like that. Again, this is a much more serious tone than the original. And that might be somebody's biggest pet peeve of it is, hey guys, can't we just have a good time and, be in a cabin in the woods and, fuck with some demons. But I always like the interesting subtext. Since this rewatch, I've kind of come original. That's my darling. But like seeing it again after all this time, I'm starting to come around to thinking, okay, this movie might be more genius than I think. So thank you for that
It
because I
is.
think
It is.
you're starting to make it turn around.
Yeah,
Hello,
Monty.
Brian.
Monty says it's better than the original. I'm not gonna lie. I have a soft spot for the original, but let's be honest. The original had major, and I do fucking mean major, budgetary limitations. It was essentially a just maybe a couple $100 more than his original college film, Within the Woods, which he made when he
Yep.
was in college.
Yep.
So again, yeah, there's no contest. This is better than the original in most ways. I would agree with people if they think that this is the best out of the saga. I I now the best and my favorite are two different things. For example,
Yeah,
Evil Dead 2
exactly.
and Army of Darkness are still what movies I love, but I'm not fucking pushing this to the side. Hello, Russell Dorsey.
Hello,
Thanks, Russell.
Russell.
So we have wow, I'm getting a cascade of people. I should have fucking had it later on. You know what I'm like. But so where were we?
We
Olivia
were
gets possessed.
talking about
Olivia gets possessed.
yes.
And did you notice that all the possessions, all the methods of possessions and defilement were in reference to pictures in the book? For example, when Mia burns herself in a shower, it shows as someone pouring boiling hot water over themselves and the
Yeah.
likes. So
Yeah,
that
it's
was
like
cool.
yeah, it's very witchy and very kind of it reminds me very witchy kind of things is so stuff that we practice in some of our stuff, the witchcraft element of it, which I really like. Again, going with the demonic and all that, everything really kind of connects to one another, and it really sews itself up well and makes a good picture. And it's like I said, I really am like on this rewatch, I'm really turning myself around. I really am. It is probably smarter than the original, even though God, the original is smart, but this is a different kind of smart. Does that
Oh,
make sense?
as we said, opening up, like the original has about this much depth, whereas this one has about this much depth. There's a lot more depth. So
But the original has so much heart.
it does, it does. It's the little movie that could. It was the little movie that could. So Eric decides to go in and check on his girlfriend because he's kind of heard this hullabaloo, and like in the book, which depicts like the pages flip over as each possession happens. It shows an image of someone cutting off their jowls, and he goes in, and Olivia's inside, and she's fucking doing 10 with her face. What is she using to cut it? Just a scissors or a knife or
Yeah,
fucking
yeah. It just a knife. I always thought, and it looks really cool. Hello,
it.
Scott.
Hey, Scott. So she decides, hey, why cut myself when I can cut this fucking hipster doofus? And she goes at him with the fucking scissors and a syringe. And oh my god, that fucking there's something about eyes, Jesus Christ.
I know Christian's the same way. Well, it's a
Oh,
very sensitive spot. It is, and it has, I don't know how many billions of nerves do we have in our eyes. So yeah, it gets to most people, and it's a cool, but it looks cool. Like it's not as good as like in the Sadness where they fuck it, but it's pretty cool. Like it's not as good as what the Sadness does with an eyeball, though. Nothing will ever be as good as the Sadness.
no, no, it won't. So he nearly gets fucking stabbed in the fucking eye with a syringe from the
Mm-hmm.
possessed Olivia. He's like, fuck this shit. So he grabs, I think, the top of the cistern and the toilet, and just
Yep.
fucking whales her head in.
Toilet
So
seat.
obviously, this movie doesn't require you to do full body dismemberment. Just make their head into fucking blancmange or whatever the fuck. It's. I have not seen Megan yet. I'm gonna hold off, Monty. Eric. Oh, sorry. Brian. That car appears in this movie as well.
Yes.
Um,
You
but
almost have to have it appear in every movie.
yeah, it's a staple. So yeah, he ends up caving in. Eric ends up caving in Olivia's head. At which point they realize, okay, there's something funky with this book. No shit. No shit. Your fucking your girlfriend just tried to give herself DIY plastic surgery on her fucking face. So what do you think? Um, what happens then? Who gets infected next? Is it his girlfriend? What
Yeah, it
happens?
is.
She ends up getting lured into the cellar. What happens to two boys? Can you remember where they go? Or
Oh God, they're mostly trying to figure out it. They get the idea that it's the fucking book. Where does everyone go? God, I don't. It's escaping me, and I just watched it last night.
I don't. I don't think it was like something major, some plot point that brought them elsewhere. Maybe they were inside in the room trying to fucking find a way to reverse the incantation or something.
Yeah,
Eric, I do know
I
Eric
believe
was
that's
trying
what.
to
Yeah.
find a passage to sort the shit out. As a result, somehow the cellar opens and David's girlfriend hears Mia's human voice, and she decides to go down and uh, see if she's okay. And that's when the demonic cunnilingus happens. Jen, would you like to take this scene and tell the fine folks what happens?
It's I mean it's awesome because like I mean that's something that wasn't in the original. You got to give it to this movie. Creativity is a good thing, and like I mean, and I love that it's a forked tongue. That was like my favorite thing because you can get into the nooks and crannies. One can go one way and one can go the other, and it can go up, and it's really good. It's almost fun. It kind of makes you wish you had a long forked tongue. Especially, and not just for cunnilingus, but for other things as well. Blowjobs would probably be good on. Or is that
Okay,
just, that's what I was thinking as I was watching this thing. I wish I had a long forked tongue.
just tell the people about the scene.
It's a good one. She just kind of goes to town and like and it's so I mean it's so disconcerting because it's all again it's like the other scene. It doesn't shy away. You see everything, and that's what I really like about it. It has no holds bars. I mean it's borderline pornographic, borderline, or would you say full blown?
No, I wouldn't say full blown. I wouldn't say full blown because
Well, I mean,
you
maybe
don't have.
it's kind of like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, where you see it, but you think you see more than you see. If that makes
Yeah, yeah,
sense,
yeah,
that
yeah,
makes yeah. And I
yeah.
love the balls to the walls. It's my favorite. Well, it's my favorite. It's like what the tree scene is in the original. That's what this scene is to me in this one.
Gotcha. So fork tongue cunnilingus is the high point of this movie.
Did you want me to
Uh,
reenact it if I could? I can't split my tongue, but did you? Is
no,
that
no, no,
what
no,
you mean?
no. We're moving on. We're moving on. At some stage, does David's girlfriend's hand get bitten?
Mm-hmm.
Is that how her hand gets infected? So she comes
Yeah.
up her hand starts doing fucking the Bruce Campbell, and she
Yeah,
gets
very much in
a
the line.
turkey carver, not a
Mm-hmm.
chainsaw, a turkey carver to cut it off,
Yeah.
and she cuts it off, and she's. My favorite scene is I'm trying to find it here now. I can't. Is Mia looking under the trap door, and she's just rubbing her fingers, and she's like, "We're gonna get you. We're gonna get you." I was like disconcerting as fuck. Um,
It's
but
kind of cute though. It's in a way, it's kind of sweet. Or am I the only one that would think that?
no,
Because
it's
there's a
there is a
playfulness.
childish glee to it. There is a
Yeah.
it's more sinister. It is because like I think creepy kids or creepy teens are more scarier than full grown adults.
Then it's.
But
Sasha
I
says there's an unrated cut that's more explicit that was actually shown on film.
film
I did not
4,
know
yeah,
that. Yeah.
film 4. I've fucked a bit. If it was shown after a particular time, I don't think it would matter. But so her hand starts twitching out. Mia's making fun of her and tormenting her. So she gets the fucking turkey carver and cuts her arm off. But that did not work. Because David comes up, thinks he can save her, thinks he can like tie up the stump and stuff, and they're still fucking procrastinating about what to do. I would have been like, yeah, look, I'm out, lads. I've some lads that can just fucking drive my ass out of there.
I don't think you would. I don't think you would.
Look, Jen, let's be honest. If you're in that cellar possessed, you'd be fucking in your element. I like dude, your girlfriend's possessed. Nah, this is just this. She's had too much sugar. Fucking, this is a Tuesday. I'll be back in the morning to collect her. She'll be fine.
You wouldn't leave me in that. What you wouldn't? I wouldn't leave you.
I'd leave. I'd drive maybe to a motel down the road and check in the morning. I wouldn't go all the way home. This would be just like this is like if we had a spat. I was like, fine, Jen, fine. You can have all the bed. I'm going to the room next door, okay? But yeah, you fucking would not, Jesus. I love you, but Jesus, you're a fucking pest. So David's girlfriend reanimates and decides to fucking start putting nails into her face and shooting nails fucking around willy nilly. Eric gets a couple and gets one in his hand, his shoulder, his leg. I think Eric ends up blowing off her other hand with the shotgun, and the demons, just to fuck with him, are like, yeah, we don't want this girl anymore, and they unpossess her. She's like, David, what's going on? And she dies in human form, and it's like, ow.
Which is really fucked up. I mean, because you're thinking you're battling this demonic thing, and then you see the real person. It's kind of this. You're gonna laugh at me, and maybe it's a stupid point, but it sort of reminds me of Pet Sematary with Gage. When he finally gets a thing, and then you start to see the little boy when he's going, no fair, no fair. It's kind of that kind of thing. You see the person after you see what they were. You know what I mean? It reminded me of that.
Yeah.
I thought it was a powerful scene, actually.
I thought it was good. As I said before, Eric is in the corner, fucking. He's manically laughing, and then you got that POV between the antlers, as a little nod to Evil Dead 2, where the deer over the fireplace is laughing. So Eric finds out that the only way that they can kind of cleanse Mia's soul is by fire, decapitation, or her being buried alive. So they come up with a plan to fucking capture her and bury her alive. And I think Olivia had drugs.
To me.
That they've been buried alive. Yeah, there's another couple of nods to the other Evil Dead movies in that scene, which is disconcerting. Oh, Shiloh Fernandez was I'm jumping ahead. I'll get to that point. The burial scene. But so they go into the cellar, which is flooded for some reason because it wasn't flooded the other fucking when Neo originally went down there.
Mhm.
I don't know what the fuck happened. Oh yeah, the boiler exploded and all the water came out.
Mhm.
So they go down. Mia attacks him.
Yeah.
She kills Eric, but David manages to subdue her and knock her out with the drugs Olivia had. He brings her up and proceeds to bury her outside the cabin with a bag over her head, and she starts taunting him. And that's a nice little nod to Army of Darkness, where Ash is burying evil Ash, and it's fucking it's taunting him. And they had this thing. They use the same method as they used in Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness, where the camera is in the hole and they leave a small little segment uncovered with soil, and that's the last that they cover that the lens with soil last, so it looks like the character's been buried alive.
Your point of view.
So cool thing. Alvarez had everything set up. Mia had oxygen bags. There was a safety crew, everything. But he decided to pull Ridley Scott Alien on him. He did not tell Shiloh Fernandez that she had an alternate air pocket under the ground. And Shiloh Fernandez was like, "What?" He goes, "Oh yeah. If you don't dig her out in time, she's gonna die.
Yeah.
She's gonna fucking die." Dude.
Which I've heard some people say that's a dick move, but like just as an artist, because you're gonna get a way more, you're gonna.
Oh yeah. The reaction, David's reaction was like, "Oh, fuck." So, she dies. He digs her up, like fucking Johnny on the spot digs her out, and it's pretty cool. He makes a defibrillator with the syringes and the car battery and brings her back to life. And we now have a cool kind of twist where I really like this. This is something I really liked, and again, it was interesting because like Jane Levy was probably. Well, she wasn't the biggest actress in this, but she was very popular. So you had someone who's gone from being, I don't know, would you say the antagonist of the movie to being the protagonist?
Yeah, that is kind of a cool twist.
I had it spoiled though, and also spoilers, guys. This movie's fucking what, 20 years old, 10 years old, 10 years
15,
old,
something like that, 10 to 15.
No, it came out in 2013, so. Is it 10 years old now? Because it's 2023. 10.
Yeah, 10.
Yeah, 10 years old. So, he digs her up, and it worked. It worked. She's cured of the demonic possession. Now, spoilers, guys. I had this spoiled for me because I had seen images of Mia possessed with both hands over the top of the cellar when she's taunting your one. She's fully possessed, both hands drumming on the thing. And in Starlog magazine, there was that picture. And next to it was her putting the saw through the Deadite's head with one of her hands missing. I was like, okay, so at some point she becomes unpossessed and ends up fighting the Deadites.
Yeah.
Fuck you, Starlog, for ruining the movie. No, it was simple deduction. Like, would you pick that up as well, or am I just Sherlock Holmes nitpicky bastard?
I think you're sure. It depends on the day. Sometimes I'm a little swift to the bat, and sometimes it might take me a while. But if you're a super fan and you're like paying attention, it would totally give it away. Like and you were, so I can totally see you and other people going off you, because if you pay attention, it's kind of there in the pictures. It literally kind of spells it out for you. So that does suck. But then that seems to be a trend lately. Like that just seems to be a trend. Trailers and other things seem to love to spoil movies before we even see them.
You can piece together what's going on. She's back. She's saved. Everything's great. David's like, look, we're going to get the fuck out of here, and I'm going to make it up to you. He goes in, and Eric has become possessed and stabs him in the throat. And in order to protect his sister, Eric locks the cabin door. There's a can of fuel in the corner. Gets the shotgun, knows it won't kill Eric right out. Fires the shotgun. Cabin blows up and goes up in flames. And then it starts to rain fucking blood. Jen,
Yep.
the finale. What's your thoughts on the finale?
I love this, and again, like I think this is the most blood they've ever used in a movie, right? Like isn't it?
Yeah,
it was at the time. I don't know. Maybe it's been beaten.
According to Fied, they used 50,000 gallons of blood.
Yeah, and I'm a gorehound, so I freaking love that. And it's also kind of like a Shakespearean tragedy, like in a way, but I like it. Again, it ties everything back because he wasn't there for her, but now he is, and now he's kind of coming up to bat, and he's going to do something, he's going to do something selfless to save her. Yeah. It's very poetic and very beautiful.
Were you shocked? Also, were you shocked? Were you like, did you initially think David was the Ash of this movie?
I did. I kind of thought that's where we were going, but it was just a guess. I wasn't like 100% sure, but that's kind of what I thought we were going to do. So, I thought it's a cool idea, and it subverts the audience's expectations.
Yeah.
Yeah, again, it really
not
does.
Only do you think your main character is dying, you have an individual who was like, you're like, this fucking demonic drug riddled bitch. I hope she gets hers, and you're like, oh, I guess she's our hero now. Which is essentially the Evil Dead. It's essentially the Evil Dead franchise in a fucking nutshell. Because like David is Hunky McHunk. When you see the original Evil Dead, you have Scotty and Ash, and like Ash is the kind of geeky friend, and Scotty's the kind of fucking the kind of fucking man-condy. Yeah. He's the it's again, that's what the first film does. It subverts our expectations. Even Army of Darkness. Well, this guy treats women like shit. He doesn't like anyone. Doesn't like anything. I guess he's our hero. Yeah. So yeah, this is no big leap that Mia is now the hero. And
do you like it that way? Do you like it that she's?
I liked it that way. And again, Jane Levy just fucking sells it. She's a fucking trooper. She's brilliant in this, and she's brilliant in Alvarez's other kind of horror movie, Don't Breathe. I thought she was brilliant in both those movies. Yeah. She started what was it? Suburgatory. I think that was the TV show she started out in. But
and Alvarez, I think, does it like he kind of had his moment, but like people are like, I really think he's underrated. I know he's got his fans, but I think he really, and he's like someone who really loves horror. I dig the dude, and I don't think he gets enough. Like you don't hear him singing his praises as much. I think Don't Breathe 2 kind of hurt him a little bit.
Yeah, he didn't direct that though, did he?
I think he was just on it. I think he was just a producer, but I think, but he did have some behind the scenes control, and I think people are like, you kind of blew your. I actually liked it, but I know a lot of. I'm in the minority.
Let's turn the rapist into Daredevil.
I liked it, damn it! I liked it.
Also, hello, Carter. So my only criticism is the last battle. The dark one, the demon that came out, which was essentially a mirror of Mia, the kind of the creepy, gangly kind of woman that came out when it started raining blood. That was a cool set piece. I would have preferred something else, maybe bigger, meaner. I don't know, just maybe fucking. I don't know. It's like she's being chased by like who's the chick with the dick at the end of Sleepaway Camp?
Angela.
Yeah, it's like Angela. Maybe it's a reference to Angela. I thought that was that, but yeah, it's kind of a cool cat and mouse. Huh? Yeah. It's a cool cat and mouse scene where she's being chased all over, and she goes through the little hobby hole into the work shed, and your one is putting the machete and stuff through there. But I don't know. I just I didn't feel. I don't know. I don't know. Like, you happy with the final boss per se in this movie, or the big bad at the end?
I thought it was okay. Like, it wasn't the big wow. I get what you mean. It wasn't. It didn't feel like it was a big enough wow factor. Is that kind of what
Hmm.
you mean? Like, yeah, it didn't kind of have.
Yeah,
Yeah, there was a lackluster to it. Yeah, but then you get all the blood raining down and stuff. I was okay with it. I was cool with it. But I get what you mean. It kind of needed a little bit more of a pop. It was okay, but it could have been a little bit better.
like if something came out and was more monstrous, if it was like something that looked like fucking, I don't know,
Pennywise.
huh? Which?
Pennywise? Pennywise, like,
No, no,
from
no,
the.
no, 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 not Pennywise. It's just something more fucking Lovecraftian. Something like some fucking weird Lovecraftian
Yeah, I get what
monstrosity
you mean.
with like more eyes and tentacles and horns. Or maybe I'm just maybe subtlety is the best
You
fucking
know,
way to go with it.
you're not the only one. I wish he was here because Christian, we've actually had this discussion. Christian has actually kind of said basically the same thing you just did. He kind of wishes it would have been like that. So you're not alone in that because hearing you say that is like deja vu from what Christian said. I wish he was here right now.
Yeah, no, I'm not thinking about it. It's still scary. She is scary, and like the bit where she flips the truck onto Mia's hand,
Yeah.
and Mia has to break her, literally tear her own hand off. And obviously, you got the little nod to
Oh,
Evil Dead 2, where she stops her stump into the side handle of the chainsaw,
yep.
and
It was a cool. You almost have to do that though. You almost.
yeah,
I
yeah,
think
yeah, yeah,
everyone was
yeah.
waiting for that.
The fans would be up in arms. Um, but yeah, dude, Mia gets the better of her and literally shoves the fucking chainsaw into its face. And like again, I'm just gonna, because this is a poster, as Jen was saying. There's like, it's something that, like, fucking Cannibal Corpse would have had in one of their t-shirts.
Or I'd hang on my wall.
Yeah, I mean that's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful shot. It's gorgeous. Like as if you're a gore hound. It reminds me, in a weird way of Argento. It shows how beautiful gore and your nightmares can be.
it is it's kick ass. But yeah, the movie ends and we have Mia walking off into the sunset. There's an extended cut where she gets picked up by a truck driver. Originally, she was supposed to be picked up by Ash. Ash was supposed
Mhm.
to rescue her, and his line was supposed to be, "God damn kids, come to this cabin again." That was cut, obviously.
I would
But
have kind of liked that. I would have been okay if that would have been the actual one we got. I would have actually been okay with that.
with Ash,
Yeah,
to
yeah.
solidify that this is in the universe, that would have been cool. Um, as I already said before, that originally there was going to be an Army of Darkness. This was going to be a trilogy. There was going to be an Army of Darkness 2, and then Mia was going to join forces with Ash in the third movie. Uh, that did not transpire. Ash versus Evil Dead happened, and I think in the fourth season, Mia was going to turn up in the post-apocalypse to help Ash, because
Oh,
that's how the third season ended. Neither came to fruition, and like I yeah, I always got to feel this movie kind of came and went, and people didn't hate it, but it didn't really receive love. I loved it. I'm just happy to hear that Christian liked it, and Monty liked it, and American Werewolf in New Jersey, and Eric loved it, and it's a kick-ass movie.
it is, but it's interesting. Like I think this one is kind of. It depends on who you ask because remember when you did your Evil Dead stream when we were talking about all the movies, it was only you and Christian that liked this movie.
Yeah.
Every panel were like, nah, it's not really. Remember that one? So it's interesting. I think it's very polarizing in who you ask, which I always find interesting. And I'm kind of being lie. When I watched this last night, I'm like, oh, Marty and Christian kind of have a point. Like the original, like if I had to pick to save only one, I'd still say the original. But
Oh
but I
yeah.
gotta acknowledge it's nostalgia. A lot of it for me is nostalgia.
Yeah. That
kind of
movie.
converted me.
Yeah, again, it's a good. There's a lot more layers to this movie than you might think, and it obviously still has
Yeah,
its fans in mainstream aspects as well. Because I don't know if any guys out there play the Evil Dead game that came out for the Xbox One and PlayStation 4 or 5. I don't know what the fuck it's on now. I have an Xbox in it. It came out. There's DLC of Mia, David, demonic Mia, and Nailgun. So obviously they made that DLC for fans of this movie, and obviously there was fans out there that demanded that. So obviously that's kind of a thing. I do think that this is going to be a lot closer to the next Evil Dead movie. What they're going for this seems like.
yeah.
Focus. Would you be happy if they connected Evil Dead Rise to this, or do you think
Y-
Evil Dead Rise should be its own thing, or
I
would
would
it
be
be?
I would be happy either one. Like if they did it well, I wouldn't mind if they connect. Something to be said about kind of cool and having its own thing. But then, like you said, this one I think doesn't get enough love. Even I kind of fell in that trap because I was a little too hard on this movie on rewatching it. So I think it would be cool. It would be neat if this got a sequel. I'd actually like an actual proper sequel, not just tied into the new one we're getting, but an actual proper. Of course, the timelines would all be fucked, but I mean, so did the Halloween, so that's nothing new in horror
Jen,
franchise.
in fairness, Sam Raimi has never given a flying fuck about continuity
That's true.
In Evil Dead movies. Ash, Evil Dead 1 goes to a cabin, his girlfriend dies. Ash, Evil Dead 2 goes to a cabin, his girlfriend dies. And then he gets transported in time and arrives there, and he's a hero. Next movie, he's in fucking chains being brought to be executed. Fucking fuck continuity. So
And it somehow still works. Like it somehow still all works.
it does. It does.
Would you
I'm
want
like
it
you.
would you want it to be tied in, Marty? With the new one, or
Yeah,
would you be?
I think the weird thing is the 2010s. Um, I think the 2010s was when people got their fucking act together with sequels and prequels and stuff.
Mhm.
But they they were great, but they never got any kind of recognition. Like Evil Dead 2013, Predators, the Robert Rodriguez Nimrod Antal movie. That was supposed to get a sequel. That never got a sequel. That would have been cool. A lot of movies came out in the late 2010s that like deserve sequels, and I think now maybe I'm wrong because was the Platinum Dooms movies? They were all before 2010. They were all like fucking between
Yeah,
2000 and 2009. I think that made a lot of people kind of
burnout.
gun shy to the prospect of prequels, and
Yeah,
the ones that came
and
out that were
something to be said
good.
about those too.
Sorry.
Oh no, I just was saying. I think you were right that well, the Platinum Dunes, like there are people that are fans of those movies, but I think it made people kind of like you said, gun shy, and also just like, okay, we're done with this for a while. Kind of burned out, I guess is the best word to say. Kind of
Yeah,
burned out, and it kind of
and
burned
the
the
good
other
stuff
films along that came after.
the good stuff ended up getting fucking tarred with that brush. And I think this might have been one of those
Mhm.
movies. Um, would you put it up with like
And I've
some
agreed
more?
with you on
Sorry,
the Evil Dead stream party. Sorry,
you're breaking
but
up.
I just said I wouldn't agree with you stream, but I agree. Sorry,
No, you're
better.
grand. There's a bit of lag. Just try talking there again.
Sorry, I'll make this quick. I wouldn't have agreed with you on the Evil Dead stream we did a couple years back, but I actually agree with you now that this one would have deserved a sequel and is actually a kind of underrated and kind of genius. I don't think I would have agreed with you a couple of years ago, but on a rewatch, you can really see how deep and smart this film is, and it's kind of a shame.
Would you put it up there with the likes of the John Carpenter's The Thing remake, the Fly remake, the Blob remake, Zack Snyder's Dawn of the Dead? Would it be one of the more successful and at the time underappreciated, but deserves a second kind of looking
Mm-hmm.
at or a reevaluation? If
Yes, I would. I
yeah,
would. In fact, I implore everyone watching tonight, if you were kind of like me and you liked it okay, but you didn't see what other people really liked it about, rewatch it because there's a lot, and it'd be fun to watch it before the new movie comes out anyway. But yeah, I would say I'd implore everybody that was kind of like me, and I'm surprised saying this, but I can own up to when I'm wrong, and I think I was very wrong a couple of years ago with this movie, and I think I was a little too harsh.
I
But again, nostalgia did cloud my judgment, probably.
I've been like that as well. Oh, they're remaking this, they're remaking. I've been that fucking uber nerd about it. Who's like, no, it's not the same. It's not
Not
the
the
same. Where's
same.
Bruce Campbell? Where's Arnold Schwarzenegger? Yeah, no, it's like that. So I think this would be, as you said, this might be a better way if you're hyped for Evil Dead Rise. Um, by all means, watch the originals, but maybe for an easy, smoother transition, watch this because I think it might be very jarring to go from Army of Darkness to Evil Dead Rise. Like, hey, he's fighting monsters, Three Stooges style. Meanwhile, this bitch is eating glass, and you can see it go down her throat. I think it might be a bit jarring. So I think Evil Dead 2013 would be the better option. Um,
Yeah, it'd
also,
make it go down more smoother, like a tree of rape or
uh,
kungali or a forked tongue kunga. No, not a tree of rape, a kunga, a forked tongue kungalingus
oh
demon
Jesus.
possession.
Hello, Eric. You just came in at the right
Hey,
time.
Eric,
Eric says he prefers this over the original trilogy. Yeah, it looks
interesting.
it looks good. One other thing I'm excited for is Pied Alvarez is got a new job, and the new job is my faith has been restored thanks to Prey. Fiat Alvarez is doing Alien Prometheus. Now, whether
Ooh,
that actually sees the fucking light of day, because there's been 6 or 7 directors trying to do an Alien movie, and Scott has kind of said, "Oh yeah, work away, work away." No, actually, I changed my mind. You're not involved. Neil Blomkamp. I'm also wondering because this movie has been announced so many times, but also at the same time, there's a fucking TV show that was in the works, and that's any information on that has just fucking disappeared.
mm-hmm.
I'm like, so are we getting a TV show? Are we getting a movie? I don't know.
Probably not.
I'm very cautious of that. I am excited for Evil Dead Rise. I like the fact that director's Irish, Lee Coren. He is the director of one of my favorite Irish horror movies, and yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what they do. Um,
I'm too.
what are you hoping, Jen, to see in Evil Dead Rise? What do you think?
I'm just I'm hoping for a good time. I'm hoping that this one people will, horror fans will universally love it like we love our original Evil Dead. But I hope it does like this I hope it does what this remake actually did. Or not remake, but the I hope what it does is pays its respects, gives you respectful nods, but does something fresh and different, and gives us maybe a different story, but something we can appreciate. We've already done it once, so let's try to go in a different direction, but pay our respects to where we came from. So I'm hoping it'll
Mm-hmm.
do that, and I'm hoping it's going to be bloody as hell, and I'm hoping it's going to be
Yeah,
a good time. That trailer looks promising. That trailer looks really
yeah.
promising.
It again, like with Fiat Alvarez. I think Corin is a big horror fan. We've seen elements of The Shining and Demons 2. If you've ever seen Demons 2, essentially the same premise. people trapped in a high-rise building with demons. Yeah, so that's it, guys. I definitely think
And
that if you
Poltergeist 3.
Poltergeist, Jesus Christ, does anyone even watch Poltergeist 3? Veronica Cartwright's in
Don't
it, I
give
suppose.
shit to Poltergeist 3.
Okay,
Don't give
okay,
shit. I
child.
fucking adore
It's
Poltergeist
alright,
3.
child. It's okay, child. Yeah, no, with that, guys, if you haven't seen Evil Dead 2013, check it out. It's 10 years old
Yeah.
now. It's
Or
worth
if
a
you've like me and
reevaluation.
just I'm sorry, I
No,
keep
go on.
cutting you off, Marty. I apologize. I just was gonna say, or if you're like me and you kind of thought you didn't like it, maybe rewatch it because, like I said, this last rewatch, it's really turned me around. Now, I won't say I love it as much as the original, but there's a lot of things to appreciate it. And as much as I hate to say it, there's some things that it does do a little bit better. And that's no disrespect to the original one, but it does do some things better. This is one that
This movie just has the advantage of when it was made and the budget. That's how it kind of surpasses the original in some ways. But yeah, that's Evil Dead 2013. Jen, what is next on the horizon for you, my lady?
Well, I noticed you didn't ask me what was in the pipeline.
Because I've fucking grown astute to all these pitfalls, these innuendo-laden pitfalls.
Damn it. Christian, sadly, Christian's going to be leaving in the morning. He's going to be gone for hopefully just a month. So that it's going to be a little slow on the channel, but we have been filming a lot of videos, so hopefully you won't notice it too much. There's going to be reviews coming on. We're going to finish up our season 3 of Tales from the Crypt. Marty and I are going to be doing some things with Trash Fire. Yeah, we're just and we still have Jordan Peele's Nope. That's a review that we filmed, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy that review. I'm really proud of how that one turned out. So there's just a lot of things, but it might be a little slower on my channel for a while because Sparky sadly is going to be gone for a while. He was supposed to be with us tonight but couldn't make it. So
we'll miss him. Hopefully he'll be back soon and he'll be back in fine form. And you have one.
Marty, and don't you have something? Don't we have some flowers in an attic to talk about too, darling?
We are going to be doing Flowers in an Attic for Valentine's Day, along with another movie where Eva Green gives birth to a clone of her boyfriend just so she can fuck him and have a kid by him.
It's Valentine's Day. If that doesn't say Valentine's,
it's going to be our Valentine's double bill. Also, I am going to try and do if I can get my heart into it, and I'll try and do a review of the Disney Plus Willow series.
Very cool.
Quick little kind of thing on it. Cast is fantastic. The new cast is fantastic. But the thing that hobbles it is the pacing is dreadful, and it's been infected by the Disney / Marvel MCU quippiness, where it's a life and death situation, and everyone has to say a funny line. I mean, there's having levity, and there's like I have no jeopardy now because everyone's cracking a joke every 10 minutes. Also, Warwick Davis doesn't want to be there. He'd rather be somewhere else. If anyone says, "Oh, you're right, Martin, it sucks because it's woke," I don't give a fuck. No, fuck. That's the woke aspect makes it good. I like the fact the princess isn't in love with the prince; she's in love with her best friend, who's not her knight and bodyguard, and happens to be a girl. I like that. And instead of the prince rescuing the princess, it's her having to rescue her brother and try and kind of. I'll do a better explanation in the review, but she's trying to come out to her friend. The two of them are mad about each other. Honest to God, Eric, he needs to fucking seriously. You got to put in a bit of effort to get a paycheck. He doesn't give a shit. And we do that. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing a kind of my best review of the Disney Plus Willow series. And by popular demand, because I had a lot of people asking about it, I'm going to be doing. I had already done my top favorite deadliest, not my top deadly list of deadliest Yautja slash predators from the movies. I'm gonna be doing my top favorite predators from the expanded universe. So
Oh,
novels, comics, and video games. So that should be in the pipeline. With
oh.
that, I just want to
Will you
thank,
be
as
in my
always.
pipeline?
Oh Jesus! I should have fucking Jesus Christ! Look!
It's
With
almost
that,
Valentine's Day, Martin.
with that, with that, I'm going to. No, Eric, it's going to be all the expanded stuff. Oh, novels. I'm going blind. I thought you said movies. No, novels. Yeah, I'm gonna be doing the novels, the video games, and the comics. So yeah,
Very
you
cool.
apologies. You did say what I was saying. Um, uh, Eric says pipelines for everyone. No, no, my girl. No, bad. Um, with that, I just want to thank everyone who stopped in. Big thanks to Eric. Big thanks to Russell, Brian, Sasha was in,
Scott,
Dino was in, Monty was in. Am I forgetting anyone, babe?
Scott.
Scott Stevens was in. Great
Mhm.
Scott was in. And big thanks again to my gorgeous, wonderful, fantastic girlfriend who drives me crazy, and that's even why I love and care for her even more. Jen Mitchell. So make sure you check out her channel. And thanks a million for stopping in, guys. And yeah,
Thanks, guys.
have a good. Take care. Bye now.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Congolingus!